Samsung should kill the S Pen. So says some guy over at Phone Arena. Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. If this is your first time here and you want to come on back again, well, you can like and subscribe and bell, dingy, 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 and all that kind of stuff, and do that. And if you've been here before, if you come back again, thank you ever so much for spending your time with me on the Painfully Honest Tech channel. Now, let's get right to the subject at hand. My friend Michael Fisher, Mr. Mobile, posted a comment on this Phone Arena tweet that linked to an article that someone who works at Phone Arena, or someone who is a freelancer that works with Phone Arena or whatever, wrote an article saying Samsung should kill the S Pen. And then they went on to list a bunch of arguments as to why that should be the case. And so I take umbrage with this idea. I take umbrage with this idea in the strongest terms possible. I'm going to tell you why. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to look at their arguments and sort of give my responses to the arguments. Now, let me say this before we get started. This is not a trash Phone Arena kind of video. It's not about the person who wrote the article. It's not about anything like that. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. And as such, I respect that to the lengths in which it deserves. I just have a different opinion, and this is my channel, so I'm going to talk about my opinion. Okay, so the title of the article is Samsung Should Kill the S Pen, as you already know. Reason number one this individual gives for getting rid of the S Pen is it takes up a lot of space. And it takes up a lot of space. And why does that matter? Well, for one thing, the S Pen takes up a space that could be used for more battery. Yes, more battery life, etc., etc. But in a world where we have wireless charging, in a world where, my experience with the Note 9 has been that the battery lasts all day and it's not really a problem. So I can't see the argument of it takes up a lot of space holding a ton of water. If you want a Samsung phone that has all the specs that you want, more RAM, more battery, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, if you want that, Samsung already sells a phone for you. They sell the S10 line. The S10 Plus is the Note 9, Note 10 without an S Pen. So if you want that, you can go there. But to argue that the S Pen takes up too much space and therefore is somehow depriving us of extra battery life we would need for reasons unknown because it already gets us through an entire day of usage. And this is just talking about the Note 9. We don't know what the Note 10 is going to bring us. The Note 10 could bring us all kinds of better battery life for a lot of different reasons that have nothing to do with the freed up space that the S Pen would allow if it were taken away. He ends this section by saying, which would you prefer? A totally amazing battery life or the S Pen? My answer, and probably the answer of many Note users over the world, is the S Pen, because the battery life already pretty good. S Pen adds a lot to the equation. His next reason is most things that the S Pen does you can just do with your fingers. He says that other than its natural use for note-taking and drawing, there's not really any practical use for the S Pen. This leads me to believe that this individual has not used the Note series very much, or has not used the S Pen to its fullest extent. The S Pen, yes, great for taking notes. Yes, great for Actually, I don't know if it's really any good for drawing. That's another point that he makes. The S Pen is a different, more precise way to interact with your phone. It also allows you to take handwritten notes. It allows you to do a lot of things that I can say as like somebody who has big hands and big fingers as such. I really appreciate the preciseness that I can get with using the S Pen. Yes, you might be able to do all the things that the S Pen can do with your fingers, but would you want to? There are certain things that the precision the S Pen offers gives you that your fingers don't. I mean, if we want to make comparisons, you could wipe your rear end with your fingers, but I think I'd prefer to use the appropriate tool. How about you? In his next point, he goes on to say, artists are better off using tablets for art things. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. However, I'm not entirely sure that there are a lot of artists out there who use the Samsung Note line for heavy lifting artwork. I would venture to guess that the Samsung Note line is not used heavily by artists for creating, like finished works. That would be ridiculous, to the point of being so obvious that it pains me to have to point it out. Yes, a tablet would be better for creating finished artwork. But say you're an artist and you don't always want to carry your tablet everywhere, but you see something that you want to sketch out. Wouldn't it be nice to have a phone that you could just pop out the S Pen and take a quick sketch, so that when you get back to your more professional, more feature-rich tools, you could, in fact, use your sketch as a jumping off point to complete that work? I say yes! And I think a lot of artists would too. And this is where his argument really falls apart. At no place, at no time, other than in the beginning of the article where he says, it's obvious uses handwritten notes, does he go into any sort of analysis of what you really should be using the note for. Handwritten notes are number one in my book. I'm a writer and I get a lot of ideas. It's a lot easier for me to grab the S Pen, pop open a note, and whether it's Evernote or Samsung Notes or whatever, I prefer Evernote. I can just jot down the idea, and then it's in there and it's gone, and I didn't have to spend, a bunch of time typing. It is faster. That's all I'm saying. It's faster to write handwritten notes, and I appreciate that this is the only phone that gives you the opportunity to do that. And that brings me to my biggest problem with this article and the mindset behind it. This person doesn't understand what makes the Note special. It's not just the S Pen, but the S Pen is part of it. There are certain markets that really appreciate the Note line, in my experience. Folks who, use their phone a lot. Maybe they work outside of the office quite a bit, and they appreciate having the S Pen there. They appreciate the different things that the Note allows them to do that the other Samsung phones don't. With the S Pen. And then there are the creatives like myself who really appreciate and really value the opportunity to have that S Pen right there. The Note line of phones is not, nor has it ever been, a phone for the masses. It is Samsung's flagship phone, as this person points out in their article, but it is not a phone geared toward everyone. It's not a phone geared toward the person who has their phone as a companion for a little bit of gaming, a little bit of texting, a little bit of Instagram. The Note line is about being able to get things done. This individual goes on to say that losing the S Pen would help redefine the Note series. He says that the S Pen is what holds the Note back from being a true Pro phone. Now, I'm just going to ask you folks out there, if you have used a Note, would you say that the S Pen is what keeps the phone from being a Pro phone? I say no. I say it's actually what makes the Note a Pro phone in a way that many other phones can't accomplish. He goes on to talk about features like 3D cameras and 90 hertz screens and better cooling for gaming, and cites the OnePlus 7 Pro and the Huawei P30 Pro as examples of how the Note could be more pro. But I'm here to tell you, the OnePlus 7 Pro is not a pro phone. The Huawei P30 Pro is not a pro phone. There's nothing professional about it. Oh, you got cooling so you can play more games? And how is that professional? I'd be really interested to know. It's just, this article is so darn wrong-headed in so many ways. It misunderstands and misrepresents the value of the Note phone in Samsung's lineup and in the lineup of smartphones writ large that just really, really frustrates me. Phone Arena is a venue that people go to. They have been around for a long time. They are a trusted source. And while they say at the beginning of the article that it may contain opinions from the writer, and that's totally fine. I guess it's okay for people to have their own opinions. It's okay for people to write about their own opinions. It's okay for outlets like Phone Arena to release those opinions. Phone Arena I would like to write a rebuttal to this article. I would like to give you 1,000 words on why everything that this article says is absolutely wrong and wrong-headed and just doesn't fully, completely understand what the note line represents and where it fits in the smartphone ecosystem. What do you think? 1,000 words from me to rebut this thing. You can hit me on Twitter at Jason T. Lewis, PHT, or you can send me a message via the comments here, or you could send me a message anywhere else that you can find a way to do it. I have an email address in my YouTube account that is for business, and yeah, I would be happy to do it. I would relish the opportunity to do it. So please, consider. And I would really appreciate it. What do you guys think? Do you think that the S Pen has run its course? Do you think that Samsung should kill the S Pen in order to give us more battery life and other features that other phones already have? Or not? Let me know down in the comments. I'd like to have a boisterous discussion down there about this issue. At any rate, thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it. If this was your first time here and you want to come on back, then you can like, subscribe, bell, notify yourself. Ding, 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 ding. Sorry. Little rush attack there. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back and being a part of this community. I really appreciate that as well. Anyway, to recap, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Until the next time, I am out.